2003, and I was in New York, and I heard this music blaring from this car, and it was Bhangra music, and then all of a sudden I heard Jay-Z's voice rapping on top of it, and I turned around and it wasn't even an Indian person listening to it. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, where am I? What happened for the 2 months I was out of the country? And so that was kind of a, I guess in a way, a step into like a post-multiculturalist moment, perhaps the beginning of my recognition of where I could fit into something different and something new. And for me, even though I love Guinean dance and I love studying it and dancing more than anything, there's also a lot of people in this country, in this city, who teach it and have a hard enough time making it. And so there are just kind of a lot of issues around, do I want to teach that kind of dance? And I love to study it and perform it. But I felt like I needed to do something different. And Bhangra is something I grew up doing, but wasn't that interesting for me to continue. So this moment kind of represented something, okay, maybe I should take this dance and create my own sort of movement around it, and if they can make something up, so can I. So the dance I primarily teach is based on the Bhangra tradition that I learned growing up, and then incorporates consciously and unconsciously a lot of the West African movements that I learned. And so in terms of this piece, this was really inspired. First of all, this is a work in progress, so you guys are very kind to let us kind of experiment upon you. And I want to thank my dancers before I get Lorena Valenzuela and Farida Jabula, who are so kind for coming out here and dancing. And so with this piece, it was inspired by a friend of mine who was picked up by Homeland Security and sent to Guantanamo for a week, and then sent to a detention prison in Arizona for a year and a half. And he's a U.S. citizen. He's from Senegal originally, and has a 9-year-old daughter that he didn't see for a year and a half, and kept coming before a judge who said, there's no reason this man is here, but he was kept anyway. So that kind of, he told me his story, and we spent a lot of time talking about it, and I felt like my work, and I had been feeling this, it had a different kind of urgency. It needed to go in a different direction, and then I wanted to express something different that was really specific to this moment that we're in right now, and all the war and just everything that is we're experiencing at this moment, and not just looking back at stuff that I've done in the past. So I want to expand this piece, make it longer. I want to incorporate him. He's local, so and he's a musician and a stilt walker and just an amazing guy, and incorporate him into the piece as well. And also, it's also some of the costuming and just kind of the dancing. It's also drawing attention to the fact that I recognize this as a dance, and of course I think dance is important, but I'm taking the story and something that happened to him and doing something I love to try to express it. And so there's something, I kind of put that with the music. I mean, there's a pop element, there's glitter, and it's because I recognize that while I can try to express how that situation made me feel, it's nothing, it's so much bigger than me, and it's so much bigger than what I'm doing. So for me, I think I agree with Tila. I'm gonna wrap it up. In terms of where we are in this multicultural, post-multicultural moment, in terms of being somewhere in between, I definitely feel like this is me moving beyond and into that moment, and where that fits in terms of the larger dance scene here. I mean, I think the fact that this gathering is happening is just a great move in the right direction, I think. And with the Bhangra stuff, it was one thing that came out of multiculturalism was this commodifying of all these different cultures, and I feel like that's helped me tremendously. I'm able to kind of sell my work in a way that I wouldn't have been able to 10 years ago, but it's also something that, we're at a moment now where this kind of, any post-multicultural work, it doesn't have that same kind of commodification factor happening yet. So, thank you.
Terrific. I'm just wondering if anyone has questions or comments about Jyoti's work.
Or any.
And we can move, I want to move to a kind of larger discussion and let us kind of just bat all these balls around into space, because I feel like there are like all these balls being thrown up in the air, and I just want to see who wants to bat at what ball. But I want to have a moment if people have things that they'd really like to know about Jyoti's work, or it seems like we've had really rich comments, so.
Jyoti, we talked about this before, but I know that being involved in Senegalese dance and not being of that descent can be challenging, and I'm just wondering about your own feelings about, I think appropriation is maybe not the right word for this context, but feeling welcomed or not into that community, and how you see your role in the larger African dance community.
It's very different from place to place, and when I moved here, I was living in Portland, Oregon, which is majority white, and so coming here was definitely kind of a completely different context for West African dance. And it can be, there's a lot of deep issues behind people who are not of African or African American descent studying and dancing, and mainly performing dance from West Africa. And I think those issues run really deep, and I think that they're also very prevalent within the classroom, the fact that they haven't been resolved. And as a person who's neither white nor black, I think I kind of occupy that liminal space, perhaps in some ways a little more welcome than some of the white girls, and not quite accepted by everybody in the community. And for me, it has been a struggle, definitely getting to a place where I can go to class, I can do my thing, and I can feel part of a community, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. And there's definitely, amongst the Guineans that are here and the West Africans, there's definitely a disjuncture between their acceptance of people into the community and then certain people of African American who are African American within the community. There's a disjuncture there between how they accept other people, and the history is totally different, and their experience of this country and people in this country is totally different. So like I said in the beginning, the issues are deep. But it's definitely, it's a struggle, and it's a challenge, and it's something that, I go into class now and I'm like, okay, I'm used to this, I know how to deal with it, I love this more than anything in my life, and I'm just going to do it. And I think ultimately you find those people who feel that same way, who love this more than anything in their life, and they just connect, and then, I try not to reflect on it because I'm tired of reflecting on it.
I have a question. Can you talk about your work with Dunia and its the process in terms of how you try to reconcile all of the different training that you have?
Yeah.
Can you just reiterate what Dunia is?
Sure. Dunia is a dance company that I founded last April of 2006. I had just spent 4 months in West Africa and Guinea and Senegal and Gambia, and quit my 40-hour-a-week day job at UC Berkeley to see if I really wanted to be a dancer. And while I was there, I was in this bush taxi with 13 other people on my way back to Guinea from Gambia, and the name Dunia came to me as like, my dance company needs to have this name. And it's a word that means world in Hindi, Punjabi, Arabic, Susu, which is one of the languages in Guinea, Malinke, another language in Guinea, Wolof from Senegal, someone just told me Turkish, Swahili somebody has told me, maybe you guys can tell me other ones later on. But and so, this word seemed really just to kind of, seemed really appropriate for the kind of work that I was doing and wanted to do in terms of not, celebrating where the different dances I've